Hey guys, it's James back with a new video. Obviously, as seen in the past videos, I'd recently purchased two gas masks of surplus gear, the M65 Draeger and the Chek m10m. Now, obviously, I'm a big fan of the Chek m10, but I also know that it's not a very practical mask, so we're going to be going over that. Now, I'm also a very swear-by guy in terms of German equipment and stuff like that. And the Draeger German M65 gas mask would be my go-to surplus mask if I had to pick one. I'm going to try and move that so that this light system is not like killing everybody. Maybe. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. Anyway, so I'm going to talk in this video about, the practical uses of both of them, the dependability, and also, like, the flaws in both of them. Because, I mean, every gas mask has its flaws. Obviously, these two both have flaws, or they would still be in use today. So, we're going to start off with and in terms of a fanboy sense now, my favorite one out of the two, because I feel for cheek masks, is the Cheek Filter Chek M10. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put this on real quick. And I want to elaborate on the fact that, these elastic band straps right here, a lot of people say they don't give you as good of a fit, but they honestly, in my uses, and this could be just me, they're more comfortable and they give you a more like face feeling fit, because with rubber it has less give. So if your face kind of like alters, or your head kind of alters around, it could eventually, being rubber, if it was rubberized, give you a little less of an airflow than it would here. Obviously, these are going to wear out a lot faster. I'm going to go ahead and put it on. I like this 6-point strap. That's probably my favorite. And the most safe is probably the 6-point strap. I would not accept anything less, honestly. As far as I know right now, I've never tried anything less than 6-point. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten it up to my face, which is not hard. Obviously, it makes your hair look a little funny. I'm going to pressure seal it real quick. Alright, cool. So, now, I want to say that the voice diaphragm, which I tried to say in the last video, but, I'm kind of stupid, so I didn't get to, but this is called a voice diaphragm. As you can see, is very clear. I can hear myself fairly clearly. I'm sure you can, too. Now, I'm just breathing through there. I smell something kind of funny from the last video I did where I was doing a bunch of tests on it. These are the same filters I left in there. It's been about a week now, almost. So, obviously, I'm going to smell the remnants of that. The air in my house smells cleaner through this, honestly. And, you know what I'm saying? But, the fact that it does have a smell should tell you something. Now, before I get into the flaws, because a lot of people like to hear, well, blah, 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 doesn't work, fuck this thing, right? I'm going to give you some examples of why it would be good for you, okay? And this is as a civilian now. I'm not talking military use. Personally, in military use, it's got some very limited uses. But it's something that can be easily turned over and beat by an actual 40mm mask of any type. Unfortunately. Now, a lot of people say that, now this is as a civilian, that the mask is uncomfortable. Personally, I sat down with this mask after I first bought it. And I sat there for a good hour and a half and actually fell asleep with it on. So it's not a bad mask. It's not an uncomfortable mask. Obviously, it's not as comfortable as if you have something not on your face at all. I mean, duh. But for what it is, it's not an uncomfortable mask. I can fall asleep in it. Then again, I can almost fall asleep anywhere. So, I mean, take it or leave it. When I'm talking, my chin has no problem opening and closing. I don't feel uncomfortable when I talk at all. I like to get a full breath of air, so if I'm like stopping in chunks, it's because I'm breathing through all the way. And again, obviously with it being a smaller airflow, I'm going to have to take a second. So like, if that's questioning you, yes, it's a little harder to breathe than normal, but that's obviously because there's something obstructing the ventilation of your nose. So obviously it's going to be a little bit harder to breathe. Not to the point where you don't want to breathe. But if you start talking like I am right now for a long period of time, you're gonna do that. Or if you're running or sprinting, stuff like that, you're gonna be a little more encumbered. So I would keep that in mind. That's with any gas mask. Now it's actually easier to breathe through this than it would be to breathe through one of these because it has 2 flows of air. Getting into that later, but the positives about this thing, it's easy to buy parts for this. They're very, very cheap. Okay, I mean, I paid $10 for mine, and it came with an extra set of filters. The first set actually worked. If you watched my last video, the aerosol test, it was proven that it would stop organic vapors. Now, that definitely, like I said, is not gonna typically happen, but I got lucky. They were in vacuum seals, and they just happened to stand the test of time. Even then, it could have. I was honestly expecting it to fail, even with the packaging and everything the way it was. Another bad part about it is if you manage to have a pair of filters that you do know will work, which is very rare. I heard from a guy that they're starting to make some in another country that are like the cheap filter masks and everything, and that they're making filters that are new. But that's just a rumor, and I'm sure that if it's just one place, they're going to be extremely hard to get. Now, that being said, that's saying you have some that work, and you know they work. There's your practicalities for them, okay? 1, everybody's always raving about the zombie apocalypse, okay? This thing right here covers more of my face than any other mask I've ever gotten a chance to wear, including the 2 that I own. Well, including the other one that I actually own. I've had a chance to wear about, 8 or 9 of them. Most of them were when I was a kid, so if I do end up getting them in future videos, I'm probably going to, at first be like, wow, this is so fucking cool, I've never done this. When in reality, I actually went to a mask museum and got to wear, 20 or 30 masks when I was a kid. And so, I vaguely remember some of the comfort of them. But, in comparison to a lot of the masks that my friends have and I put on, or even just regular shit that I wear on my face, this is actually a really, really comfortable mask. It's breathable. I'm not hot at all. It's fucking midsummer and my house is 75 degrees and I'm perfectly fine. Another good thing, okay, and I know this sounds kind of crazy, because, if the zombie apocalypse were to, for some fucking reason, happen, or there'd be, a new plague, or there'd be, a new mass exodus of people, or even a mass, influxuation of people to the point where your place was, infested, and they had a bunch of diseases, okay? The particulate layer in here being closed up, as long as it's not, wet, damp, or the charcoal's exposed, should typically work, okay? That means that most pathogens in the air, even though, even with the charcoal, as long as it's not broken down, could actually stop from things like, the flu, or whatever the hell people that come in there are with. Now, if you're a bunch of dead bodies, it's gonna help you if you don't want to smell a bunch of dead bodies. So, I mean, like I said, zombie apocalypse, if it managed to roll over, or even an airborne type rabies virus could probably be stopped by one of these, okay? If you buy particulate filters and you're doing a lot of sanding in your house and stuff, I'd go with this right here. A lot of people say it's uncomfortable. I, right now, have a big bump on my head from yesterday. I actually hit my head right here, so that's why I'm fucking around with it right here. But it's not an uncomfortable mask, so, and as you can see, I've been talking for a good bit of time, and there's no fog in here at all. Now, if I were to talk a lot in this mask right here, the fog would start to build up a teeny bit more. Or just prolong use of sitting there breathing, This one right here does not have that problem. It's very comfortable, nasal cup on your face. And another convenience for this is that you can actually drink through this. Now, the drinking systems on gas masks are fucking retarded. I feel like all the real inventors that work for the companies that made gas masks, they just simultaneously had an aneurysm and died, and so I was left to the new guys to make up the fucking the straws and everything, because they're fucking retarded. I mean, they work, but they're just a pain in the ass. You gotta hang it over your head, and the tubes will fall out. But the fact of the matter is, you can physically drink through this. So if for some reason you were stuck in this for 6 to 8 hours, you could drink and you wouldn't be dehydrated. So there's one thing that's, And on that note, there's actually before my grandpa died, he had this liquid food. You can actually ingest that food through here too. because it's a fucking liquid. Put it in the damn canteen and you know, ingest it. But so unfortunately, that would be a way to eat. I wouldn't want to do that by any means. I probably may test it to see if it actually fucking works, but I've heard it has. But see, you have your options there, okay? Now, this is all just based on the Chek M10. So this, like, whatever's on the m10m is what I'm talking about, okay? The mask itself is fairly durable. I watched a lot of videos that saying that, you know, the Chek mask, the reaction type of the, oh my gosh, the plastic that's made out of, or the rubber it's made out of, there's not a lot that's going to react to it. So, I mean, you could come across some blister agents that might eventually rupture the mask. But the point of a mask is, if you had working filters in that case, is that it won't fail you while you're getting away. This isn't a, hey, let's go stand in a bunch of fucking Nova gas kind of shit. This is, let's get out of here before we die kind of mask. And that goes for any mask. I mean, obviously the mask will keep you safe if you have to go in. But why would you be in there unless you had to? I mean, unless you're like some weird, like, adrenaline junkie or you just want to die, why the hell would you go in there, right? You want to get away, put your mask on, get away, take your mask off, right? Live your life. Another good thing about this is, contrary to popular opinion, it took me all of maybe 2 minutes to put both of my filters in. I've never owned a Chek mask or even a cheek filter mask in my life prior to putting that thing together. And I looked at it and put everything together in less than 2 minutes. Now, what I'm saying there is, if you had about 5 minutes of prep time to put your mask on for any subtle situation in which you would have that time, you could theoretically use this mask to get away. It's got a 12-hour, depending on the, you know, the, what am I trying to say? The density of the gas or whatever's around you that you're not trying to breathe in is, you have up to 12 hours with these cheek filters in, okay? Again, assuming if they work. So obviously you're playing Russian roulette with these motherfuckers if you're using one. But if it's like a CS gas, perfect example, CS gas. Here's a perfect example, okay? It comes in a particular form typically because it's actually a particle, not a vapor. Now it can be turned into a vapor, so I would put the full NBC piece in, and just to be safe, as long as they look in good condition and they were packaged. It's like an added possible protection, but like for the majority of the time, you can just use the particulate filter inside of these and be perfectly comfortable and safe against CS gas. So if you live in a, you know, like a heavily crowded area, and you have a day, or you have like a heavy flu, or you have like a very dangerous virus going through, like somehow bubonic plague gets back out there, or somehow H1N1 starts spreading again, or a very deadly strain of the flu, or like there's a big ass uprising and you got a bunch of CS gas all over the place. God damn, I need to put some ice on that. Oh, then you're safe. So you're good to go. And the filters for these are like $1 per set of 2. So like you'd probably be good for buying maybe 10 or 12 of them for like $20 plus shipping. And now you've got a decent chunk of time, or if you buy a couple for your family, they're very relaxing. So like they'll give, like, this is actually a little too big for my body, but it still gives you a proper seal even when you move around. Now, that being said, they also come with this damn extra eye cup. So if you ever feel like you're going to break a cup or a lens, put the extra lens on there. That's a bitch and a half, but it's a possibility. They're, like I said, they're really cheap. They're really comfortable. They have a 6-point string. They are bulky, so keep that in mind. And you can't aim down sights with them. So, like, there's just like a couple of things right there that are good for this mask. You know, the voice diaphragm works. This right here is a very dependable piece of gear down here where your exhale valve is. You have the ability to drink and possibly eat if you use a liquid food source for some reason, if you like decide to stay somewhere. You know, this thing will give you a really good seal. It's actually a better seal than a lot of the masks I've ever had a chance to wear when you're moving around and talking. So if you're with a family and you have CS gas, you want to be able to tell your kids, hey, calm down, blah, 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 and instruct them. Now, if you're wearing a mask like this, your face is going to get really uncomfortable, and this is via experience, okay? I put myself in CS gas chamber with this already. And you start talking to your unit and say, hey, squad, blah, 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 blah. Your chin's going to get fucking exhausted, okay? It's not very comfortable at all. It's very tight fit. And it's a lot harder to breathe because you only have one way to breathe in, okay? But with this, you know, you're getting your kids out of CS gas. You want to spend $35 on that, or do you want to spend, you know, maybe $12 plus shipping? So if you buy 4 of them, you got, you know, $32 plus free shipping, and they all come in their own bags. So it's not like you have to buy bags, and then you can just buy extra filters. If you're gonna do that, go to CHK Deals. By the way, really great gear, really great people, and really great equipment. So definitely. Also, customer service is amazing. I'd recommend it to anybody who wants to prep on a cheaper scale. So, definitely get out there. Now that we're done with the actual goods, we're going to go into the bads of the Chek M10. Bad thing is, you have to take your mask off of your body to replace the filter, which means if there's a nerve agent in the air, assuming you actually had filters that were in date and actually worked, you're going to die. Okay, now if you have to take it off and replace it while you're in a bigger city waiting on traffic, for the time being that you're breathing shit in, you're gonna fucking hate life because you're having to take your mask off and replace your filters, including these little rings have to come off when you're replacing filters, so that's added time. Okay, obviously when you're done, just do that and you clear the mask. Another thing is, you can't aim down sights with this. So if you're trying to aim down a sight, you're not going to be able to do it. So you better get comfortable with, like, easy sight, with, like, natural alignment sighting, which is actually kind of intense if you start doing it in a serious scenario where you need to hit every shot. So, I mean, that's for more your urban folks. You know, obviously it's a bit more bulky than this. I mean, if you look at this right here, it covers up. The fucking cheek on this thing is about the size of my entire Draeger. So this is way lighter, and you can replace filters on it. Now, another thing I want to say that's bad about this mask right here is the filters themselves are all out of date. So you're playing Russian roulette if you buy an NBC filter for these. If you buy a particulate filter that just blocks like particles in the air, you're good to go. I mean, there's no asbestos as far as I know in them, so you're fine. Quality control on this is actually pretty good. I can't complain at all. I'm not exactly sure what the lenses are made out of, but if they were made of plastic, that would be if anybody knows if the Chek m10m's, either one of these, I have both the extra lens, the protective lens, and the regular glass lens obviously on there. So if anybody knows like what those are actually made out of, leave that description down there in the comments. As far as I know, they're made of glass. I can't really see anything that would say that they were made of anything else. But yeah, another bad part about it is, you know, you have to store this clunky thing. You have to carry this clunky thing if you're really about it, okay? You can't aim down sights. You can actually see pretty well. I mean, again, your vision's pretty well. Obviously, you're going to have, like, that little part about right. Not even there. You can actually see. Never mind. So, there's not that. But, you know, that's your good and bad, basically. Again, to demonstrate for you, you're going to have to take your mask off. You're breathing in all the harmful chemicals in there right now, right? Now, you've got to flip this over right here. So, you're taking your time to get all your fucking straps out of the way. Once you've finally done that, you've got to take apart all 6 of these. There's 2 here and 2 here, these little white dots that I showed you in the how to build video. And then you got to actually unscrew each of these, force your shit to come out, open your new package, put it in there, you know, screw the lot in after you've lined the hole up on both sides, and then you have to put all this shit back together. Now, that's not a necessity, but I'm definitely sure it would definitely hinder your experience with this. If you left all that open, you'd probably get a little more nasties in there than you think you would, I'm assuming. But so you got to do all of that, and after you're done doing that and you figured it out, now you have to put your mask all the way back on, Get it nice and comfortable on your face. Because honestly, you're already choking on the fucking gas. You might as well make the next part of your life a little more livable. So you get it nice and comfortable on your face. You're still choking your fucking nuts off. You clear the mask. Okay, so you've egressed all the toxins out of the air. After, obviously, you've made an airtight seal. So now you're really breathing whatever you've been breathing it in. And for the next 20 minutes, you're going to hack and cough and breathe really hard through the mask and probably cut about an hour of time and about 10 minutes off the actual filter's life. So there's that, all right? Now, that one right there is the Chek m10m, okay? Again, I personally, I have a mask for just about every situation right here. This would be my go-to mask. If there, like I said, if there was a heavy flu virus coming through that was really getting people sick, these filters are cheaper. They, for what they can do at their age, are reliable. Obviously, particulate filters are reliable. You know, they're comfortable. They're more comfortable. They're more practical for in-house use. Or if you're just going out into town real quick, and obviously you're gonna see people with those little N95 dust masks. Those guys are probably gonna get sick. You won't. So you may look a little dumb, or in other people's eyes, cool, but you'll be fine. Okay, as long as you continue to clean your hands and everything. And that also keeps everything out of your eyes, too. So, that being said, if you're doing work in the backyard, I've already done a little bit of work with this in the backyard. I didn't want to breathe in all the fumes and everything from my lawnmower. So, it was comfortable. A little bit of a, I'm going to say, like a sweat problem, where like the sweat kind of gets in your eyes and everything. It doesn't run down anywhere. It has nowhere to really go. Not even out of the axial valve. So, that was kind of an awkward thing. But it did, leak out of this piece of the cup right here. So, obviously that's going to cause less of an airtight seal. But, I mean, at least it's not leaking into your filter. So, I mean, if you're sweating really hard, just kind of hold your mask to your face better. That could happen with any mask, though. I've heard a lot of masks have that problem. I actually watched the video. Weapons and Stuff said the same thing. It wasn't this exact mask right here. It was the updated version, the new one. Oh, actually, this may have been. No, this is the one he used. And he said, there's nowhere for your shit to actually soak except for right here. But that's another video. But the practicality of these masks for a lot of things is definitely. I wanted to end with saying that if you can get a 40mm mask for reasons outside of flu, working in your yard, or CS gas, if you're really looking to get a mask that's going to protect you and your family against a lot more stuff, go here. But if you're looking for a simple starter mask for your situation, the Chek M10 has its purposes. It definitely at this day and age does not have a spot in the Marine Corps or the Army and Navy or any branch of the military, as far as I know, and that's for good reason. But it does have its perks, a lot of perks, and outside of it not being able to, outside of its filters, I want to clarify that, outside of its filters and ability to protect you in an NBC scenario, it's not a bad mask. Again, I think it's more of a civilian mask, personally, because you can't aim down sights almost at all with it. I did a video where if I came way back here and my sight was up here, about that far away, maybe 12 inches away from your face, you could actually see down sights. They're decent with iron sights, but you can't use a scope system. So, military members, you just, especially in today's military where everybody has an ACOG, these are gonna fuck you over. So, there you go. But like I said, Chek M10 is not the worst mask in the world. If I had to say the worst mask in the world, it'd probably be a homemade mask that I made before. That it worked, but this is way better than one of those. And obviously, this is way better than a Chek M10. A little less comfortable, but a little more safe. So, rather than safe than sorry, right? So, but again, if you're looking for a cheap mask to do simple things and to protect you, like a cheap, reliable mask, in a sense that you're not going up against anything NBC related, possibly organic vapors, and definitely the particulate layers. If you can just buy the particulate filters and maybe have a few NBC in there just in case the flu's going around at a heavy rate, that could stop it. So I mean, obviously, if it didn't, you know that your Chek m10 didn't do it for you. So, or you just weren't being sanitary. But there's your pros and cons to the Chek m10. And again, I would recommend it for simple use, but I would not recommend it. I would not expect this to protect me due to its filters abilities. Like, you know, in the sense of you can't get the filters in and out quickly, and the fact that they're all outdated. You know, if there was in-date filters, I would trust this a lot more. But obviously, I would use it strictly as a I'm getting in my car right the fuck now and I'm leaving kind of mask. But me personally, I'm gonna go check on my friends and family and get them out of there. So that's why I bought the Draeger M65, which will be, in my next video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. You know, if you have anything that you saw that I wasn't exactly true on, or you know, please leave me a comment please leave me a description in the comments, and please back up what you're saying with proof. Not because I don't believe you, but because I would like to clarify that in the comments that I was wrong and you were right. I can't be right about everything. And I mean, we're all human here. So if you guys do actually have information regarding what I covered or any extra information, please put it down there below. And as usual, don't forget to like and subscribe. And you guys have a great day.